Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, we're doing the Guardian Druid. Big bears for big bad asses. Yeah, the one that took all the stick. The weakest tanking mop, they said. And suddenly he's back with a vengeance. Oh yeah, Guardian Druid, my man. We had some struggles with this over Miss Pandaria, but it's coming to its own now. Guardian Druids are actually kind of standing on their own four paws, I guess is what we should say there. And they're doing quite well. They still suffer from a few little problems that we talked about in the past, but still, it's patch 5.4. It's the last major contact patch of Miss Pandaria. And if you want to try one of these out, or you've got a Druid and you feel like tanking, this is exactly what you're going to need to do. We're going to talk about your talents, we're going to talk about your glyphs, reforging, and then most importantly, how you play it. And I'm going to do a dungeon for you. I like doing a dungeon on the tanks and talking about how these things work. So let's get into it. Level 15. These are all pretty good, but your choices are going to either be the passive movement speed or wild charge. I've got to be honest, man. I fucking mischarge so much as a tank. Oh my god. It hurts the face to not have charge. But it's hard to argue with 50% passive movement speed when you're readjusting things, you're getting them in position, and you're doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Not happy, not happy. So pick either Feline Swiftness or Wild Charge. If you're like me and you just miss the Wild Charge and you want to do it, perhaps select it every now and again, just charge something and then change back to Feline Swiftness if you want my honest opinion. Unless you need to be charging a lot, which generally we don't. We don't need to be doing that, so, you know, make your choice there and there. At level 30, right, first sort of cooldown. Ysera's Gift is what it is. It heals you for 5% of your maximum health. It's a ton of healing, it's passive, and as a tank you're generally going to be taking a lot of damage, which gives it a lot of weight, honestly. It actually makes it a pretty nice extra hot to have on yourself. Renewal is what it is. 30% of maximum health, 2-minute cooldown. Big, fat, dirty, scrubby, filthy, bear paw heal all over your face whenever you're in that emergency situation. And Cenarian Ward. Not quite as fun as Sacred Shield, is what I'm going to say. The straight-up mathematics say Cenarian Ward is better. This is my opinion. Cenarian Ward is a big pile of shit. I hate it. I really, genuinely hate this spell. It's so annoying, it's boring, and frankly, I just can't stand it. I really can't stand it. I've been playing around with it. Don't get me wrong, I've been playing around with this son of a bitch, but there's so much to do. We have so much rage. We get to press a lot of buttons as the Druid that, frankly, I just can't stand it. And in favour of actually being a straight-up tank, especially if you're doing progression, renewal, baby. When those emergency situations pop up, we need to be dropping bombs and making sure we're still alive. Cenarian Ward might mathematically work out better. It's a snowfest. I fucking can't stand it. But there you go, it's your own choice. I'm just telling you what technically is best and what I feel situationally is actually better, which would be renewal. Level 45, pick whatever you want. Knockbacks are actually making a bit of a comeback in Siege of Orgrimmar. Several bosses that require some kind of knockback. Will that be you as the tank? That's your discretion. Depends on what your raid needs and wants. At level 60, it's a good close call between Soul of the Forest and Incarnation. Now, personally, I really like Soul of the Forest because it's consistent. And one of the things you like as a Guardian Druid is consistent rage. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of things about active mitigation, which require a certain amount of rage to generate. And maintaining that, for me, comes a hell of a lot from Soul of the Forest. I've tried both of them, been playing the dungeons, trying out all the different talents so I can give you an actual hands-on opinion rather than just what some website will tell you. I love Soul of the Forest. It's just guarantees 30% more rage and deals 15% more damage on your mangle. If you're good at keeping your mangle on cooldown, boom, it's just happy days. You're going to keep your Savage Defense on cooldown. You're going to have a good old time. However, Incarnation, if you want to go balls to the wall, kick something in the fucking bollocks. Improved Bear Form that reduces the cooldown on melee damage abilities and growl to 1.5 seconds. It gets you out of a lot of shit. There's no doubt about that. It gets you out of a lot of situations and it allows you to put out insane amounts of DPS. There's no doubts about that whatsoever. So bear in mind, Incarnation is a great spell. I love the consistency of Soul of the Forest. That's what I like personally. Level 75 doesn't really matter. A little bit of a leeway towards Ursol's Vortex. Again, similar to Typhoon. Couple of bosses requiring some CC. Ursol's Vortex is a wonderful spell. If you've got it nicely keybounded, you can throw it down wherever you want. Level 90, right. Your choices are really going to be between Dream of Cenarius or Nature's Vigil. Heart of the Wild is still pretty good, but as a tank, we generally don't do a lot of the stuff that's outside of bear form. Not to say we won't be throwing out those emergency tranquilities every now and again and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, not the best. And especially as we get the stamina and agi, that sounds amazing, right? Well, a lot of our benefit actually comes from critical strike chance. We certainly don't suffer for stamina, so that kind of puts that out the window. And Agi, yeah, Agi's okay, not the best. Dream of Cenarius, though, It increases the healing of the healing touch by 20%, but it also increases the critical strike chance of your Mangle Bear by 10%, which is fucking awesome. Your Mangle Bear crits in turn have a 40% chance to make your next healing touch or rebirth instant cast. Free, castable in all forms, and benefit from attack power instead of spell power. I just want to point out that thing procs a hell of a lot. And it's a tremendous amount of healing. It really is. It kind of drops the value of Frenzied Rejuve, also in my opinion. It really does. And I find it just nicely sitting there waiting for me to use it. So I don't have to rush and use it. If you're going to be providing a lot of raid healing, you 10 manas are going to find a lot of benefit from Nature's Vigil. Because you put out a lot of damage and you can put out a lot of healing with your Nature's Vigil. Tends to be aimed a bit more towards the 10-man guys, I feel personally, but they're both pretty close. They're both pretty close there. Glyphs, right, we got shit on with glyphs. We really did get shit on with glyphs, there's no doubt about that. I'm going to talk about, these are actually my feral ones, Savagery, Shred, and so on. The other one I picked up was actually Phase Silence, because I ran a couple of 5-mans as well, just to test some stuff out, and running a 5-man without Glyph of Phase Silence is just absolutely retarded. I'm going to talk about the glyphs you can take. First of all, Frenzied Rejuve. After 6 seconds after activating Frenzied Rejuve, healing effects on you are 40% more powerful. However, your Frenzied Rejuve now always costs 50 rage and no longer converts rage into health. So you sacrifice the healing aspect of Frenzied Rejuve, so you don't get that big heal. But you get healing effects more powerful on you. Brilliant in certain situations. Big consistent AoE hurting the whole raid, kind of pulsing AoE. Popping a Frenzied Rejuve and allowing all the heals on you and give you that big safety buffer is fantastic. Big heavy dot on you as well. Think about the scenario, okay? If you got some sort of damaging bleed effects, that damaging dot, something along those lines, and something that Druids are particularly bad at countering, that glyph is going to come in really handy situationally. It's always the point. Situationally, Frenzied Rejuve can become a touch more useful there. Glyph of Might of Ursoc as well. Increase the health gain from Might of Ursoc by 20%, but increase the cooldown by 2 minutes. Depends on the boss, man. This is why the glyphs aren't that good. It really depends. Am I going to get hit so fucking hard that I need another 20% HP when bears are easily topping 1,000,000 health now? It's just not happened yet. But that glyph is there should you need it. The other one I wanted to talk about is Survival Instincts. Reduces the cooldown of Survival Instincts by 60 seconds, but reduces its duration by 50%. I actually really like that glyph. Survival Instincts obviously are a variation on Shield Wall. If we are popping something like Shield Wall, it's generally to counter the big hit that we just talked about, that big smash, that third stack of something, or big triple puncture, something like that. And in fact, it's a one-hit thing, and then the damage goes back to normal afterwards. Therefore, the Glyph of Survival Instincts can come in very handy there. So, all situational. You're going to be swapping around your glyphs purely dependent on the fight. It really is so dependent on the fight, it's not even funny. You can see that sometimes this is good, sometimes this is bad. Sometimes that one's good, sometimes it's bad. Pick what you need. Each of them has their own purpose. Depends what the encounter demands. Alright, guys? Just that's how you think about it. Your gearing is super fucking easy, by the way. Crit, stam, crit hit, crit expertise. That's it. It really is. Critical strike chance is just the go-to ability. It's so fantastic. It allows you to do so much more stuff that you are going to be gemming pure critical strike rating. As a tank, I find this completely idiotic. But still, that is the way the cookie crumbles. That is how this class works. Simple as that. You're gemming critical strike chance through the ass, okay? If you've got dual crafting, big crit gems in there. Good set bonus like 120 agi. Go ahead and put a crit stamina gem in there. All this kind of stuff. Pick up some extra stam, all that good stuff. So if you've got your red sockets, expertise crit, blue socket, and you want the bonus, crit stamina. And if you've got those yellow sockets, critical strike rating. Or if you've got a crappy set bonus, again, just pure critical strike rating. So if you're picking up something that's got some shitty haste buff or whatever, go ahead and just stick a pure crit gem in there and you're going to have a good old time with that, okay? So it's all critical strike chance. Let's talk about how we play with a big bear. Obviously, you want to keep up Fairy Fire. It's a great ability to pull with, I find, actually. It's a fantastic ability to pull with. The simple things are simple. Just keep your Mango on cooldown. If this is single target, get your 3-stack of Lacerate going and keep your Thrash up, okay? Lacerate does have its cooldown. Now, the big problem with the Guardian Druid is this thing, Tooth and Claw. This will generally just fuck you up. I'm serious. This thing just generally fucks you up. And you're going to be spending a lot of time with this graphic on your screen. The reason is, our active mitigation is very expensive, okay? Savage Defense is tons and tons of rage. Frenzied Rejuve, obviously you don't want to be using it at too low a rage margin, otherwise it's not that useful. As such, Tooth and Claw is one of those things that will goof you up because you will not be able to keep your Savage defense up. Now, a good Druid is going to keep his Savage defense up 100% of the time, especially fighting melee bosses. Let's not get that confused. As you can see, my Tell Me When tells me when it's about to run out, so I can refresh it. You'll see it pop up here. Almost gone. And I can barely get back up to a full amount of rage. Very, very rare occasions am I going to have the opportunity to actually use Maul. It's if you're off tanking, Maul comes in very handy, and so does Tooth and Claw to do various things. Or if it's the fact that you're just completely safe, you do not need the ridiculous 45% dodge chance from Savage defense, then you're going to head and use Tooth and Claw. But in general, I find that buff really irritating. If you want to play purely defensive, it's just going to be annoying. The simple fact is, while you're single targeting, keep your lacerates up, keep your lacerates up, keep the thrash up, keep your mangle on cooldown, and then throw in some extra spells where and as you wish. Your main goal while single target tanking is to keep Savage defense up as much as possible. Really find a good way of tracking it. This is the easiest way I found of tracking it. Gives me a 1.5 seconds warning just before it runs out, and therefore I have 100% uptime on that. And the damage difference when you do that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. On top of that, you want to be aware you do have Frenzied Rejuve. Should you need to do it, it's very, very beneficial to throw out that Frenzied Rejuve because it will give you a super big heal. There's no doubt about that. It's a super big heal. A lot of people just go, oh, excuse me, oh, Savage defense. I'll just keep that up 100% of the time and forget all my other spells. No. No, remember your Frenzied Rejuve is there, but it's a flat-out heal. That's all it does, okay? Savage defense is only great against melee because it's dodge chance. Your Frenzied Rejuve is straight-up healing. Always quite nice, okay? So, depending on the fight, you can go with a very heavy sort of healing and extra healing on you sort of ability using the glyphs and all that kind of stuff. But in general, we're just keeping Savage defense up 100% of the time. When it comes to AoE, we're generally doing the same thing again. Keep your mangle on cooldown, but now you're mixing in thrash and you're mixing in swipe. That's pretty much it. I gotta say, there's some problems with this class. You want to mix and match your mangles, throw your mangles onto different targets. If other things are on cooldown, feel free to throw out a lacerate as well. Playstyle super easy for the Feral Druid, okay? They're a big, sturdy bear, and that's all they want to do. Keep your mangles spreading around, doing all the good stuff, and then just keep your thrash and your swipe on cooldown. And that's pretty much it, guys. You're going to be mixing in your single target stuff as well. You're still keeping your Savage defense up. That's still what you're going to be doing. You're just mixing in thrash and swipe and just generally dotting your mangle around. If you've got 2 targets, you could be a little bit fancy pants. Fancy pants involves having 3 stacks of lacerate on both targets. That's about as fancy pants as it's going to get on your Druid, I'm afraid. Obviously, bear in mind the thrash bleed is what you're after, the bleed effect of thrash. You can obviously keep that going as well. So, oh, I'm so fancy with all my extra lacerates and stuff. It's really the simplest thing in the world. I recommend a Tell Me When for your Druid scenario, so if you decided to take that, nice notification. It will only appear there. There's no proc that appears on your screen. Nice little Tell Me When for when you can throw out that big heal on occasion and get the bonuses of that if you've decided to take it. Other than that, that is it. It really is that easy. It's such a simple class. Keep your mango on cooldown and just keep everything happening. It's a very slow, steady, methodical spec, okay? Everything has a cooldown. So your lacerate has a cooldown. You've got 3 seconds on that. Your thrash has got 6 seconds. Your swipe's got 3 seconds. So there's nothing that's like spammy, 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 spammy. The main button you're going to be spamming in all seriousness is in fact your Savage defense. It really is. You're going to be keeping that thing ticking and cycling. You're spinning that plate. Okay, you're spinning that plate, and even on an early sort of chance, you're going to see 60% dodge and early gear level. The gear level of this Druid is moderate 482, nothing special. Right, I'm going to show you some gameplay of this actually happening, because I think that's going to be the easiest way to show you stuff. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye.